Welcome to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast. Pokemon Day is on February 27th. Today we're going to predict every single Pokemon game we could potentially see in a Pokemon Presents. My name's Dusty. We also have Lumio's Post.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What up, what up, what up?
You guys helped us reach 1,000 subscribers. And in return, we've promised a SoulSilverArt Face Reveal. Roll the clip. I'm nervous.
We drum
Don't
roll?
be nervous. I'm nervous.
I hope you dolled yourself up today, Soul.
What if he's a celebrity? What if he's like secretly a celebrity?
Chris Hemsworth just flashes up on our screen there.
Toby Maguire?
Adam Driver?
Yeah, Adam Driver.
Turning on the camera.
Here we go. Who have I been talking to for a year?
Just like to say, I've already seen him.
I have not seen his face. The 2023 SoulSilverArt Face Reveal is right now. Let's count them down, boys. 5, 4.
No, there it is. It's just there, Dusty.
Ready?
Let's go.
Ready? It's blurry.
5, 4.
It's only blurry when you
3,
move.
2, 1.
Ready? There you go. It's me.
Oh, he's so blurry.
Blurry.
Let's go.
Blurry's perfect.
You're
Wait,
so blurry.
Stay still and it'll clear up. Stay still and it'll clear up because it did before. There it is.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Incredible. Incredible job, guys. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. It's actually weird seeing your face. This is like strange.
I wish it wasn't blurry, but...
Okay, so Pokemon Day 2023 is right around the corner. I want to hear what you guys predict, what you actually think we could realistically see in Pokemon Presents. There's usually a Pokemon Presents on Pokemon Day. That's when we got the reveal of Legends Arceus BDSP. What are your overall thoughts, guys?
I mean, we have our basic. I think DLC is a given. I think it would be really, really sad and funny and sad again at the same time if they didn't announce DLC and like waited. Like imagine if they waited till like April or something. Like they could. They don't have to announce DLC. So yeah, I think DLC though is pretty solid of a guess. I think there'll be a spinoff as well announced, and then like you have like all the mobile stuff, which we can get into. There's a lot that they're gonna go for. I think Pokemon Day has become like this really like big event in their eyes. Like it used to be just like, oh, today's Pokemon Day, it's when it started, cool. But now it's like next level.
This is E3 for Pokemon fans.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's really next level.
So what is the prevailing rumor right now when it comes to DLC for Scarlet and Violet? Are we expecting one DLC pack, 2 DLC packs?
Right. Yeah.
I hope it'll be 2, just because I do not want to have to wait until November, because if it's 1, they likely wouldn't release it till November, I would think. And I don't want to wait until November for not even the DLC, but just to get more Pokemon in the game. Like, not even new Pokemon, but like the old Pokemon returning. I do think, I personally believe that, we're talking about Pokemon Day Presents, and when they did the Sword and Shield DLC announcement, it wasn't on Pokemon Day, it was in January, but they did there was a patch available after the presentation, and I think that they very well might do that again. I think that, we know there's a patch coming in late February that's supposed to be improvements to the game because, the game's a buggy mess right now. I think that it will fix that, but I also think it'll add in a teaser for DLC because in Sword and Shield, they added like a patch that day that allowed you to go to the train station. You could go ahead and catch a Valerian Slowpoke, and you could go ahead and meet Avery or Clara. And I think you even heard about the Isle of Armor while you didn't get to visit it yet. I think they could do that again. And
that was honestly so much fun. I remember immediately getting the Slowpoke. I started shiny hunting for it. It was really fun to interact with that with the day one announcement. They were like, here you go. Here's a little tease.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it was great, and I think that's the thing. It was a huge success, and it's a great way to get people to buy the DLC, because you put in a free teaser in the game, and it's I want to know more. But also, the patch details that we know is coming in late February, and many people speculate will be on Pokemon Day, it mentions one of the points for it is added functionality, which is more functions, which would make sense if there's now kind of something added into the game.
Yeah. I think that's really solid. I forgot all about that. That they're definitely going to do some kind of like little teaser thing that you can maybe do in your game. Maybe just a raid, but I hope not. I hope bigger than that. I hope something more related to the DLC.
Yeah, I mean, I was fine with the size of what Sword and Shields was. I mean, you got to get a Pokemon that was from the DLC, even if it was a Slowpoke. It like Dusty said, like you can go ahead and shiny hunt for that. You know, if
you couldn't evolve it,
ability patches weren't right, you couldn't evolve it. But like ability patches weren't a thing yet, but you could get an ability patch now. Go ahead and get your hidden ability one, get it perfect IV'd and all. You know,
how did they block you from evolving it? I don't remember that.
You just couldn't evolve it. Oh no, it was the item.
The item was locked to the post game.
Yeah, and we also didn't know what the item or what the Pokemon evolved into. We didn't know what Slowbro was going to look like. We didn't know what Slowking was going to look like.
Right.
So there was a mystery there, even though you had the Slowpoke to interact with. It was kind of interesting, right? It's like let your imagination run wild, so you can, you know, it just kind of like just like put whatever ideas you have onto the Pokemon. So
What I would most like from a teaser is, I don't know what you guys want for a teaser, but what I would most like is like, I don't know, Arvin, someone like is like, hey, you know, I'm in Area 0, can you come down here? And like you come down there and you just see the Paradox Legendary Beast or Paradox, you know, Swords of Justice, depending on the version you're playing. And like, you know, it does a little roar and then it runs off. And that's it. Like,
oh, that's cool. So you still see it.
Right. You see it in game. You obviously can't catch it.
That
but
is
like
epic.
That would be enough to be like I'd be like, oh, that's awesome.
What if similar vein, but rather than seeing the actual Pokemon, because I feel like seeing the Pokemon, even though that is cool, even seeing the Pokemon feel like I would be like save that almost. What they could do instead was Arvin calls you, you go to Area 0, and he goes, here's a Paradox Pokemon. Have you seen this one before? And it's like past Paradox Pikachu, right? It's like Screamtail. It's one of like
maybe like something completely new, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Something completely new, and then maybe you can interact with that. But then Arvin says, "Okay, if this has shown up, then there must be, you know, the cave must go deeper. Like, can you come help me?" And then we gotta wait, 10 months for that to
That'd be good.
happen.
That'd be good. I guess my thing is like, if they're going to go ahead and give us the official reveal of Paradox Suicune and Paradox Virizion, as we're calling them. I would prefer to like go ahead and see them in game. Like if they're going to go ahead, because like it won't be our first time seeing it. I'm sure they're going to reveal it in the direct, just like they did, you know, Cubfu and Urshifu and Calyrex.
Yeah, so they're probably gonna reveal it. If they reveal the DLC, they're probably going to show us like majority. I hope at least, because the Scarlet and Violet promotional cycle was very different. So it was very held back. They held the cards close. Whatever. Well,
the DLC for Sword and Shield, they really did. I mean, the only thing they kept a secret was Glastrier and Spectrier, like in terms of the new Pokemon. And I think it's because the idea is like, with Scarlet and Violet, you want to kind of keep it close because it's a Pokemon game. People are going to buy it. But DLC does need more convincing. I have Scarlet and Violet. Why would I pay for more Scarlet and Violet?
That is a really good point, because that they definitely will have that in the back of their minds. It didn't. Sword and Shield DLC did not sell probably like as much as they wanted. It's sold, but I know tons of people that didn't get it. So they need selling points for sure. I think they might go heavy on it actually. Now that you say that.
What they could also do, we're focusing so much on Area 0, but I think there's still possibility that we could get a DLC location that's like based on the Azores, just some sort of island that's off the coast of real world Portugal or Spain, right? And if that's the case, then we are going to see a similar situation to Isle of Armor, where maybe they give us a new Convergent Pokemon, right? Maybe it's that Magikarp Convergent Pokemon that was data mined. Maybe it's just another random Pokemon that exists, Convergent Pokemon. And we get the base form, right? Maybe it's like washed ashore, we get it, and then it's like, but this can only evolve with some sort of item again once you finally go to that new location. Or maybe it's a Southern Kalos thing, right? Like,
would you prefer it as a variant or a Convergent, though? Which would your pick be?
Convergent. I think it's not really a preference. It's more like I want more info, lore, we get one more. 2 is not a pattern. If we get one more convergent species line, we can start making patterns.
Yeah.
I really think that there won't be any regional forms in the DLC. I think that I've been saying it since Scarlet and Violet started happening out here. I think that they're going away from regional forms with this generation specifically. Well, this game, let's say, because maybe later in the generation, like if there's a Legends game, I think that we will get regional forms again. Even like
they save it for those spin-off games.
Yeah, even not a Legends game, like whatever. Let's Go Johto, whatever. Like that's where the regional forms will be re-implemented. So for this, I think that they'll want to do more convergent evolution ones because they only did 2.
I think welcome with me.
Yeah, I like that idea too. I'm not like sour about that at all. Like I like regional forms, but if we're doing something new, we're doing something new. Like why not?
Yeah.
Well, I also think, and I guess there's 2 ways to look at this. I think Pokemon knows, like I've always been saying, there are people who said like, oh, Wiglet and Toedscool shouldn't exist because it's a waste of a deck slot. And like my argument against that is like if they weren't there, it's not like they'd be replaced with something else. It would just 100%. Be 4 less deck slots. So I think that's kind of another, I guess, marketing strategy of using these convergent forms is Pokemon gets to say like, because they know we see a regional form as a regional form. Yeah. So when they have a convergent mon, that's one more new Pokemon they get to say, So if there's 4, how many regional forms were there in Isle of Armor Crown Tundra? There were 6, right? Because the Slowpoke line and then the 3 birds.
Yes.
So you would get to say that instead of, just the 5 and then 2. So instead of 7 new Pokemon in 6 forms, you get to say 6 or 13 new Pokemon.
Yeah. Not only that, but it would probably be only that one, I think. In my mind, I think they would only do 1 more convergent form just because I think they did so few in Scarlet and Violet because they are new Pokemon. I think with forms, they're like, whatever, we're just doing forms. Yeah, it's not a whole new Pokemon. We're not going to get to like 1,100 Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like they're already picking up in number with that. So I think
I do hope that it's I'd hope for 2 convergent forms just because of how little we got. Like I don't know, even if they give us 1 more, that still means we got 3. And that's still kind of low in comparison to like the amount of regional forms we got in Alola.
Convergent Pokemon are also, I think, they're much more of a complicated concept than regional forms. So maybe they like deliberately only gave us 2 to just keep it like real simple, right? So like if this actually was kind of something that like was, something that people didn't like or were like super confused by, they can just be like, all right, it's a one-off, it exists, whatever. I mean, even today, people still like argue about like what they're actually based on because convergent Pokemon is a fan term. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, while we're on the topic, are there any more expectations you guys have for the DLC specifically? I mean, we're really banking on the idea that like DLC will be announced. I think I'm pretty confident they'll announce DLC. Oh, actually, the reason what I was going to bring up earlier is that like if they don't give us DLC or they don't announce DLC at the end of the month, and maybe they give us an announcement in the summer because there's only 1 DLC pack, right? I feel like if you're going to give us, right, because with Sword and Shield there were 2 DLC packs, it would make sense to announce it at the beginning of the year, make the entire year about the brand new game, Sword and Shield.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, I don't know, at the end of the day, none of us know what they're doing. But I would think that another reason I think that there will be 2 and that there will be an announcement on Pokemon Day is because, they've already teased so much of it in the game. So much. I mean, they have shown us 3 of the Pokemon that's going to appear in it. And that seems like a stupid thing to do. And I'm not going to pass them to make a stupid marketing decision.
Yeah. Game Freak did this on purpose.
You put it in November. In November, I get a hint for DLC that is not coming out until 365 days from now. That's stupid. Now, maybe it's the case, but it's stupid.
That's true. Yeah. I think I guess if they don't announce it though, then like maybe they don't announce it on purpose. because they want to promote other Pokemon games that they want you to buy.
Yeah,
not mainline series games, but
that's what they do that on purpose a lot of times. I think though, like it's like 95% it's gonna be DLC. Like I can't see it going any other way, because the fans will react poorly. I mean, here's the thing: we know we're getting DLC even without leaks. I don't understand people that didn't understand that DLC is what they're doing now from in the future. Like we always got third version games, and that this just replaces that. So it's not like, we're getting DLC no matter what.
And there's different ways they could implement DLC, right? Because I don't think they're going to get stagnant with it. Like, so with Sword and Shield, there were really like optional locations that you could reach as soon as you got to the wild area, right? They're basically
in fairness,
additional
though, you
wild
barely
areas.
could Crown Tundra. Because Crown Tundra, like right when you get off, you have to battle Peony, and he's using like level 70 Mons.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So it was more like a post game.
Crown Tundra was a little more specific to that though too. It was like, we know
Crown
you've had
Tundra
these games for a
game.
long time,
But Isle of Armor, I mean, that scaled with the player, correct?
Yeah, I
To an
think so.
extent.
Yeah.
It was like, I think it was like there is a before league level set and an after league level set. But like if you had beaten the 8th gym, I'm pretty sure Clara will still use like a level 15 Venipede, so you're still gonna swamp her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's making me nostalgic for that now. I missed it.
So I guess if we look at Scarlet and Violet now, an actual open world game, right? They probably would want to give us DLC packs that you could like interact with as soon as you could interact with the rest of the game, right? And they might still be level scaled, like Sword and Shield DLC. Just like the rest of Scarlet and Violet, but I could definitely see them being.
No, Scarlet and Violet
really
isn't exactly known for its level scaling.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
Oh,
I'm like, I don't know.
No, I'm using that term incorrectly. I mean, I don't know, like level benching, or it's like, so just set levels, right? You could still access the DLC locations, even though they're like level 80 Pokemon. I guess they could still do that.
I'm sure they do that because, like, I mean, the whole point of Scarlet and Violet was for it to be open world, so I'm sure that's it. And they even made, like, trainer battles much more optional. So if there is, like, a Peony character that you have to, like, battle when you get off the train. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
I didn't really like that about Scarlet and Violet, but that's
really,
neither here nor there.
I play around in the game, and I'm like, there's so many trainers I just don't battle. Because I'm like, why would I battle them?
Yeah,
would I get money?
It's a tangent,
I have
right?
two. I see two sides of it because like I do understand, especially I mean, Soul. Let's face it, you're essentially a gym oneer. You've been there since Gym 1, so it is a big change. I mean, it was a big change for me, and I remember disliking it immediately when we found out, like from the demos. But I will say I appreciate. There's a lot of people complaining that they were too over-leveled this game. Well, by making the trainer battles optional, you don't have to be over-leveled.
It's true.
It's a super big like tangent. I'll just say it fast, but like it's not really that they're optional. I don't care about that at all. Like I like that you can walk up to them and talk to them or whatever. Sometimes I would just walk up and be like, oh, here's an NPC that I need to talk to, but it was a battle instead. So I think the problem is the level scaling, and not being able to find them. Like they're just hidden throughout the map. And I'm like almost done with the game, right? I've got way over leveled.
I can't believe you're still only almost done.
I'm in Area 0 now, but
there you go.
You go back and you find them, and they're like level 15, and there's like 20 trainers I missed, and I can't do any. I mean, I can use mons I don't want to use, like go into my box and be like, hey, you can battle this trainer, I guess.
But that's not even fun.
No, right. So I don't even do it. So these trainers were just not even used because I missed them, basically. Yeah. But anyway, like I said, neither here nor there.
If you're enjoying this show, just $5 helps us out so much. Right below this video, there's a join button. You can click it and become a channel member.
And more importantly, we have merch. Seriously, I'm about to when we're done recording this ad, I'm trying to speed up this ad so I can go and buy my own merch, which is really lame. But also, it's super cool, and
it's not lame.
Cool.
I'm gonna be wearing.
Amazing.
I'm gonna be wearing a hat. I'm gonna be wearing a T-shirt. I'm also gonna have a hoodie. I'm gonna have a Hidden Power hoodie.
I'm gonna get that too then.
Yeah, Soul's gonna get one.
I want a mug. I want to put my Snapple in a Hidden Power mug.
I like that. I'm gonna be drinking coffee in a Hidden Power
That makes more sense. That makes
Yeah.
more sense than Snapple.
That's like, what is this, plastic? In
It's bad for the environment. Get a mug. Save the turtle.
There you go.
Silver Army. Grab your merch. Support your boy.
Listen to Lumi. Get some of our stuff. It's really good stuff, guys.
Your support will allow us to continue making Hidden Power videos for the rest of the year. Thank you guys so much. And now back to the video. If they don't announce DLC, whether they announce DLC or not, there are going to be other things in the presents, no doubt. You know, there's a lot of like spin-off things, a lot of like mobile games that they could probably announce. I don't think we really want to talk about that too much. Pokemon Go updates, Pokemon Unite updates.
I mean, if we're listing things really quick, that's going to be in it. Let's say, you know, do you think Cafe Remix?
100%. Cafe Remix is the new Magic Jump.
They're still updating it. Like, does anybody play it? Have either of you guys touched it?
Never.
Because I haven't even. Ever. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Pokemon.
Apparently
we like you, but
right. Apparently people play it because they keep making updates to it. I mean, they take care of it.
Is it like Bejeweled?
There was a game. Yeah, it is. There was a game very similar to it on the 3DS. Pokemon Shuffle, I think.
No, that was good though. That was actually different.
Yeah, I mean, when I say it's like it, I mean in the sense that they regularly updated Pokemon Shuffle, even though, like, you know, it was by no means a mainline game.
No, yeah, obviously not.
It certainly didn't even bring in the success that, like, Go or Unite brings in.
Yeah.
I think it'd be really cool if they actually announce a new spin-off game. I think like, they've put all of their efforts for, like, spin-off games into the mobile scene. And then all of the spin-off games that have been on console have really just been like reiterations, remakes, you know, reinterpretations. I'm talking about Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Snap even. Pokemon Snap did feel fresh considering people wanted it for the last 20 years. So that was pretty cool to actually get a new Pokemon Snap game, and it was a completely new game. That was pretty nice. But it would be kind of cool if they were like, here's a new Pokemon game that is not a gacha game and is just like a little tiny small thing that you could just have fun with.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a good chance of that just because, you know, for one, because we didn't get a spin-off game last year.
Yeah.
And for two, I mean, the fact is Detective Pikachu 2, we should get word on that at some point.
I forgot about that.
I don't want it.
At this point, it's like
I don't care at all for it. I didn't play the first one. Movie's great. I like
the movie was good.
Right.
Movie was good.
I don't care about the video game. Sorry.
Here's the thing about spin-offs. Like, do we enjoy spin-offs? Some people do.
Yeah, I can.
It depends on the spin-off. I mean, that's the thing about the spin-off is since they're so diverse in, like, what they are, there's going to be some that, like, I do care a lot about. Because, like, new Pokemon Snap, genuinely, one of my favorite games of all time. Like, it outbeats some of the mainline Pokemon games for me. If they announce, you know, Pokemon Stadium 3 or Battle Revolution, yes, absolutely.
That would be epic.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big ask, but yeah.
I think it
depends
on
the Pokemon game.
Yeah, I think the whole, like, exactly what you just said. The whole thing about spin-offs is just, like, what the content of the game is. If they just give us pinball games and, you know, your cooking games, I don't want to play that. Right. I don't
Dusty's
really care.
A big fan of the pinball. He'll play the pinball.
A lot of fun. Pinball's very nostalgic. For me, honestly, it comes down to time. I'm not a gamer. I play Pokemon games, and I'll play Tears of the Kingdom. I'll play if there's a new Mario game, whatever. Like, there's some games that I play.
You're kind of a gamer, though.
Yeah, but it's like
I'm the same.
The games I play are based off of nostalgia, right? Like, I grew up. Yeah. I think I grew up being a gamer, but at this point in my life, but I play Mass Effect. I play Skyrim. There's other games that I would play. It really comes down to, like,
then you're a gamer, Dustin. You're saying, so I don't really play video games.
This is 10 years ago. This is 10 years ago.
Yeah,
10 years ago.
Was a long time ago. It's true.
I'll play any Star Wars game. Anyways, okay, so, like, I haven't even played the new Star Wars games. What I'm trying to say is, like, if it's a quick, easy pickup game, low investment, I'm down. Because I might just, like, have, like, you know, I might just have an hour or 2 hours, like, at the end of the night to play something. If it's Pokemon related, that would be fun. I don't know. I feel like I like the idea of, like, really simple Pokemon spin-off games because it's just pick up and play. I never got into Pokemon Snap because it seemed like it was kind of like a whole ordeal. I don't know. So I don't know.
It's
also not just for me. They don't make games for me.
You change that. Yeah, exactly.
But it is not what you said either. It cost like as much as a normal game.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same content, let's say.
Yeah. That's probably why. Yeah, that's honestly probably why I never got it or played it.
That's why I did.
You change that. You both need to change that.
Yeah. Also, it's like you said. I guess I'm a Gen 1er. Like, I just want Pokemon games.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't really want all that other stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, in Gen 1, they had stuff that came out too. Like they had.
They had the Puzzle League.
Yeah. I never played
that
Gen
1.
I mean,
no, I think it was Gen 2.
Yeah, Gen 2 is when they really started pushing them out.
They had a TCG game.
Yeah,
too,
they should make it. They should really make a TCG game.
They should do that again. I would play that because I want to get into the TCG.
They had
PTs.
Kind of. It was TCG online. That's not the same.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it didn't I don't know. There was no story. You have to match up against regular players and stuff. So like if I'm just starting, they did have some AIs you could train with, but it's still like with a Pokemon game. It gets progressively harder. It is a great, if you are wanting to get into Pokemon, you have never touched a Pokemon game in your life, pick up a Pokemon game, you'll be fine. Because each gym gets progressively harder, like, not only in level, but the AIs get a little bit smarter, and so that makes sense. But, like, for TCG Online, the AI stays stupid, or you have to battle the opponents who are, like, doing it because they train to be at the regionals, so they kick your butt. So you don't really get to learn.
The beauty, so I haven't played this game, but from everything that I can see, it's a TCG game, but it's also an RPG. So, but rather than battling, you're playing like the digital version of the card game. I think they can make a version nowadays that's like the actual rules of Pokemon or of Pokemon TCG, right? And think about like the huge boom. Like if we take it back to 2016, right? Yes, the pandemic happened. The huge amount of people like. The TCG exploded, right? There's a whole new generation of people, even older people who are now into the TCG. Maybe they've been thinking like, let's develop one of these games on the side, right? And maybe they didn't start developing it until, did I say 2016? I guess the boom was like it was during the pandemic. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they've got like a year or two of development.
Yeah, it was like 2019.
I could totally see a spin-off game where it's Pokemon TCG, the game. That honestly, I would play that. If it's like this, or they use
But you know what? You say
developed by Ilka. If it was developed by Ilka and it's a brand new location, that actually would be kind of sick.
Ilka automatically makes me want to drop out, but no, not a fan of Ilka. Because I will say I don't know that I would pay $60 for that game because I don't know. If they put it on the eShop and did I don't know, 20 maybe, I might would. But
hear me out. So like if you look at this, right? These screenshots look like they could be out of Red, Blue, and Yellow, right?
Yeah.
That is
because it wasn't
yes, they look like that. Do not compare that game to Red, Blue, or Yellow.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not saying the game, but it is an RPG. So imagine like I said Ilka because that's the faithful style, right? Top down. And they could also pump out a game, right? That's not Game Freak who has to deal with that.
And it's going to be a buggy mess. I guess
it could be buggy, but
company.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, I think it actually would be kind of cool if we got a top-down game that looks like the new imagination or the new reimagining of a Sinnoh game, and we have this new realm. I think that'd be kind of cool. That to me, that's like getting a brand new. I don't know, for whatever reason, like that would actually feel like
it all depends on how they go about it, for sure.
Yeah, the presentation, the actual gameplay, all of that, it all depends on that.
Right, okay. But I mean, I will just say on paper what you're describing, I would not pay $60 for, and I guess we'll probably find this out. We're recording this before the Nintendo Direct has even aired, so I don't know if we're about to find out that games are going up to $70 because that's kind of what's being talked about right now. But if that is true and games do go up to $70, I definitely am not paying $70 for that.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Oh, nope.
Okay, so
before we move on, just not to spend too much time on spin-offs, but I feel like just rumor mill stuff, because you asked about rumors and I'm going to go back to it as well, but with spin-offs, I feel like the most rumored thing is Detective Pikachu 2. Like
I mean, that makes sense.
It has the highest like probability to happen. But there has been like we're not really diving too deep into leaks here, but there has been like people talking about a certain spin-off. We don't know what it is, but it's like I'm confused if it's going to be good or bad. I'm not sure, but it would be a new spin-off. So, like I don't know, the way that people have been talking about it, it's like, is that a good thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
There could be a brand new spin-off coming this year.
I would like, and I guess this kind of to bridge spin-offs to updates. I do think we'll get an announcement for a home update. I do totally think we'll get that. Now, I will say...
We're not getting the home update, though. It's not coming out.
Absolutely not. It said spring 2023. I think we're going to get a release date. Like, they will say,
March
on
and April
Day,
are
it's going to come out March 25th, whatever.
Okay.
But,
so before you go on, just hold your thought. Just for that. But so the home thing, they're giving us an update for like what you said earlier, Lumi, about like bug fixes basically and a whole bunch of stuff. So that they said late February for that one. So and they said this is not the home update. And then so the home update is going to come probably a month later, maybe longer, hopefully not. But it makes sense that they would do it that way too, because the whole like black raid dens or whatever they're called, they're gonna just keep milking that. Like all of those are home Pokemon that can come back in. So I think they're gonna do like other starters and legendaries.
That's a good point. That's actually kind of disappointing though, because
I think what they'll do is do it the end of March is when the home update will come out. And the reason I think that is because not only would that be in spring, but the way they do their VGC and ranked series is they run 2 months each rule set. So like we had our first 2 months was December and January, and February began a new rule set where now you're allowed to use the Paradox Pokemon. And I think maybe the Ruinous Quartet. I'm not sure on that though. But so that'll run February and March. But what's interesting is Greninja, Charizard, and Cinderace, which are our home mons that are currently available because of those Terra raids, they are not usable. So I think what'll happen is end of March, they'll give us access to home, and then April will start the next VGC series, and they'll make it a where it allows, home mons to be in it other than like
Rayquaza or something. Like they could do shinies, they could bring in some things. I think they'll want to do it. I think they'll want to do it for as long as possible. So I think at the latest April.
But that doesn't even seem like that long, because they really only do one like new exciting home Pokemon in those raid dens per month.
Yeah.
Right.
Still, there's other things you can do though. Right.
I mean, it is just speculation too. I'm just guessing. Yeah. They could not do any of what I'm saying right now.
But even if you're right,
other
like
stuff
I don't even
they
think
can
it gives
use
them...
to like. Even after home releases, they can keep doing like the Kalos starters because we haven't had access to them for a while. But then also, so there's plenty of people who have played Scarlet and Violet that do not have a game that can get them the Kalos starters. Yeah. And then you also can do any of the Hisui forms or evolutions.
That's what I was thinking is next. Actually, thinking Hisuian, some Hisuians.
I would love like them to do the Hisui events and like. Only Ursaluna and Cleavor this way, where they evolve by an item. Yep. I would love for like you to be able to do a Cleavor raid, and it gives you Black Augurite, so you can evolve your Scyther into a Cleavor. That would be neat, but I don't think they'd do that.
Who knows?
It's really cool because it's the only way to get. Yeah. Anyways, that we.
I cut you off earlier though too. I don't know what you were.
So I was talking about home updates and how. One thing I would like for a spinoff, and this is like so stupid, like it doesn't matter, but it does to me. Did either of y'all have for the Wii, back in Gen 4, Pokemon Ranch? My Pokemon Ranch, I think it's what it's called.
I know of the game, but I didn't have it. No.
Okay. It was like, just to familiarize the audience who may not be familiar with it. Right. It was like you could connect your Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum game to it, and you could put your Pokemon on this ranch, and like it was cute just because you could see you know, in like these little
Yeah.
styles, the Pokemon walking around, you'd be able to see like, you know, your Ponyta playing with your Cricketune, and you could like toss. I think you could like toss a ball out there. And there
that was a big
like,
deal at the time.
Right. And there were rewards in game too. Like eventually the like character who is in charge of the ranch, I think her name was Haley. She would start offering like trades, and at first it was like Pikachu, something really simple. But like I'm pretty sure you can eventually get her to like trade you a Mew. So like, you know, it was a big deal, and I would love, because like they talk about with Home how, you know, when they first released it, they were like, that's it. But like they talked about how your Pokemon are very much alive still in Home, and I'm sorry, but they're not. So I think My Pokemon Ranch would be a great way, or like My Pokemon Ranch 2, whatever, would be a great way to like make Pokemon Home alive. Just let me see them running around in a plane together. That's all I need.
I'll do you one better. I don't think they're going to announce a game for this, but I definitely think what they could do is, I guess maybe they could, but I think what I would prefer is just make this a feature in Pokemon Home, right?
Right. They should evolve Pokemon Home like
Pokemon Home. Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be cool. And I mean, you could put limitations on it, because like, of course, you're going to have people who try to like, I mean, how many Pokemon can you store in Home? Isn't it like 3,000?
This has got to be more than that.
Definitely more.
I don't know, but it's 100 boxes and there's 30, so 3,000.
Yeah. I mean, I've been paying for it every year that it's been out, and there's not even any features, right? And they have actually, maybe like 2 years ago, they expanded it to the mobile version, or they expanded what you could do on the mobile version.
They did it like when it was released. There was a mobile and a Switch.
I think something like this would be amazing. Like, this would actually... Like,
it would be great.
Totally.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Now, I mean, again, you could offer trades in it. Like, you know, eventually you could, like, you know, one Pokemon that's really popular being traded for on My Pokemon Branch is Vivian. You could get, like, trades for Vivian. Maybe you could get the Pokeball form for people who didn't get that. You know, you just make it where instead of all 3,000 of your Pokemon are walking around the ranch, it, like, randomly pools, like, 70 of them to be walking around or whatever.
Look at this is official art. Look at, she's holding a Wii remote. I don't know is this real?
It's Bulbapedia. It's real, yeah.
I think,
if I remember correctly, I think it was definitely real.
That's really cool seeing her hold a Wii remote, but like,
I didn't know that they made like actual like trainer art for her. That's kind of cool.
I think the only thing that, I mean, like anything, right? Like, like what is the legitimacy of, or the chance that this could actually happen?
It's just the thing that comes from Lumi's mind, really.
Yeah,
no. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the third legendary to take my imagination.
There you
go. Well, what I'm thinking, because I think this is a great idea, and it's definitely something that I would want, and I don't even think it would be that big of a lift if they were to make like these like fun little chibi versions of the Pokemon, right? Yeah, maybe that's what Ilka's been working on. Well,
Ilka is the one that did.
The time they made this was useful.
Well, what I was going to say is, like, would they, because this is an open 3D world, would they just make the chibi ones, or would they feel inclined to then make, or not want to bother making the same models that they have for Scarlet and Violet?
I think I would like it, the Mii one, though.
I guess, what is it?
You saying Soul?
I was just saying I wouldn't care at this point. Like, I'd like it to be, you know, anything.
Just
anything would be great to me.
This looks so much fun. Anyways, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, go for it.
So before we like move away from, I mean, I know like we already were on DLC, but I just randomly thought of this. I had like a flashback to like the DLC reveal. I hope the trailer is half as good as the Sword and Shield's reveal trailer, because its DLC reveal was incredible.
They gotta market it like a brand new game. It is a brand new experience.
That's what the Sword and Shield one felt like, and it was, dude. I remember sitting there and like, you know, they're showing all these things like on like a drawing board, like just moving all around the camera, and like I remember them showing the Galarian birds and like they're like using their moves. And I'm just sitting there screaming. Then they're showing new Reggies, and I'm screaming louder. You know, that was. Take me back, man.
You gotta record that. Whenever the trailer comes out, you gotta record yourself. This sounds fun. Well, so something that we kind of brushed over. So yes, Pokemon Home needs some updates, right? But there is this also there. If I'm understanding this correctly, Pokemon Bank, which was the original version of Pokemon Home on the 3DS, Pokemon Bank is going to be dead or unavailable this year. Like I'm pretty sure next month in March 2023, if you don't already have Pokemon Bank downloaded on your 3DS, you can no longer download it, which also raises a question. That also means you can no longer connect your virtual console games and titles that you have on your 3DS. You can no longer bring those Pokemon into Bank, into Home, into your main series game on your Switch. So the big question for me is the death of Pokemon Bank in March 2023, which is, literally in like 20 days, is the death of Pokemon Bank, does that mean we could see virtual console ports, right? We could see generations 1, 2, and 3 of the Pokemon games from the Game Boy era. Could we see those turn up on Nintendo Switch?
Counterpoint. I think we maybe could one day, especially like, I don't know if they were, people have talked about a new console, and I think they know how much we want that. If they're going to do a new console, I think they would actually reserve it to that, especially if it's not like Switch 2, but instead like an enhanced version of the Switch. That would be an incentive to buy that. As like, oh, it can actually play GBA games too. So you market it with giving it Pokemon, and you give it access to whatever other GBA games were popular. I really only played Pokemon. But
yeah, that's a fair point. I would counterpoint and say whatever the new Switch system is going to be, I think it's going to share Nintendo Switch Online. I think Nintendo Switch Online is kind of set up where that can exist on whatever the next Switch console is going to be pretty much for the next decade. I think it's all going to be shared. At least that's how I understand it. And I think also we're kind of in this period right now, at least on this show, we're expecting Generation 10 to come out on the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, which is going to be like 3 years from now. I think I think they could pad out these next few years. We're getting too far ahead. The biggest evidence for me is that literally the biggest evidence for me, Pokemon Bank is dying, and we're no longer, at least new players. I'm going to be fine for a little while because I do have those virtual console games on my 3DS. But for new players, they're no longer going to, I don't even think they can even download these virtual console games anymore, right? And if they're going to do a big overhaul, a big update to Pokemon Home, all of a sudden we're going to have Gen 1, 2, 3, and then I guess we're going to have a Sinnoh game, and then Gen 8. That's, I don't know, and Gen 9 as well. That's a lot of games that are going to be available on the Nintendo Switch. And these are classic legacy games, right? Like Generation 1 and 2, and even 3. They're so old at this point, right?
I think another question that needs to be asked too is like, Pokemon Home is the one place where you can have all the Pokemon that have ever been made.
Yeah.
But the issue is by blocking that connection from the 3DS to the Switch, there are Pokemon that now will not be available. Like the first one that comes to my head for some reason is Minior. I believe, I don't know if Furfroow's in Go, but if it's not in Go yet, then Furfroow's another one. I think it is in Go, though.
It is. They just put it
but
Minior,
Minior is not in Pokemon Go. So you literally, like, you cannot, there are Pokemon that you won't be able to get, which means you won't be able to get your, special Pokeball Magearna. So I think that, one, either they have to add in DLC, they have to add a lot of these Pokemon that are kind of locked to either Go or the 3DS or even just the 3DS. They have to add them in Scarlet and Violet DLC, like Minior, Leavanny's in Go, but I want Leavanny, so I'm going to say Leavanny. And there's others too. Toucannon's another one. All of those, they need to move into Pokemon Home somehow. So either put in Scarlet and Violet DLC, or that would be a whole nother point for doing this My Pokemon Ranch type game, is you could have, she could now trade you Pokemon that they know aren't accessible.
Interesting.
She could just be like, hey, get me a Paldean Wooper, and I will trade you a Minior.
Yeah. I think that Pokemon Go, actually, you made up a good point that Pokemon Go is kind of the way that they could give anybody any Pokemon that they wanted to. They can add any Pokemon into Pokemon Go just like that, like they did with the Frou.
Sure, but even then, like you do also have to think about, because at the end of the day, like Pokemon it's a kid's game, you know. So like,
I don't buy that. It's not a kid's game. It's a
you know what I mean?
Game.
Like,
it's a legacy game.
Yeah, but
it's like saying
and
Star
part
Wars
of that
is for
is
kids. It's
sure, but
I'm done with this, Lumi.
This
Pokemon is not a kid's game.
I think you mistook what I'm getting at here, though.
Okay,
I'm not saying it is for kids and thus we are all a bunch of losers by being adults and playing it.
I don't mind being a loser.
It is, but you're not one. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, right.
But I'm saying it is also for kids. And it is,
yes.
And it is, I do think a large part of these games are marketed towards kids more so than adults. You know, this whole power of friendship aspect.
Yeah, that's a little,
Regardless, my point is,
Legends Arceus.
Not a lot of kids have smartphones. I have, you know, cousins and nephews and a niece who they all play Pokemon, and don't have a smartphone. So Pokemon Go isn't a viable option for them. You know, and if you have parents that do that, that's great. But there are some kids that have lucky parents out there. You know,
so here
they're not going to be like, no, you can't use my smartphone to play Go. You're 4.
So we're getting off topic, but here's my solution. The next 5 to 10 years, Ilka can remake 3DS games in a chibi style. They can port Gens 1, 2, and 3 because there's only one.
I'd rather
screen.
carve my eyes out.
There's only one screen. They can just port Gens 1, 2, and 3. You got those taken away. Ilka can also just like port or give us a new version. I think that the 2DS
on the game don't do anything with Ilka ever.
No, dude, Ilka's not the problem.
I don't think Ilka's done. I don't think Ilka's done.
I don't think they are either, and I hate it, man. I'm dreading whatever they ruin next.
Maybe they'll do better. Who knows?
They'll do better.
You gotta look at it.
I'm sorry, but
think of
what
this
company has made a Pokemon game, and then they're signed on to make another Pokemon game, and they actually make it with an engine that is incompatible with the first game's engine.
I would say here. No, this is
such a bad mistake.
Game Freak in Generations 1, literally Generation 1. Okay, maybe Gen 1 and 2 was no longer compatible with Gen 3, and the Gens 1 and 2 are so buggy, right there.
Okay,
Ilka is the next Game Freak.
They're like their spiritual children.
I agree,
you know?
Right?
And so that would be a point for Ilka. But I guess I would say, why the heck? Because Game Freak is not that anymore. They are not a small indie company.
Yeah, but they do work with
what
code
are you
that
doing
is not compatible.
leasing out to a small? Why would you get your arguably your fan favorite game? You're getting it remade by a bunch of people who the only thing they've ever made is a smartphone app.
It would be like hiring me to do press. It'd be like, you can literally get anyone you want, and you choose me.
See, it'd be like hiring you to be an astronaut. Like, it was just stupid. Like, you watch Star Wars, that is not a basis for you to go to space, you know?
Yeah. They just pick up a guy at a bar who's got like a Boba Fett tattoo. You're the guy. You're the one. We've been looking for you. Scarlet Violet was a huge event. And there's been a lot of ups and downs in the last few months. Mm-hmm. I'm really looking forward to Pokemon Day 2023. I think it's gonna be a really good time. They're gonna announce DLC, and this is my final prediction. They're definitely gonna announce some Virtual Console stuff for Gens 1, 2, and 3. They're gonna announce
maybe
some ports.
Maybe even today. Who knows? For the Nintendo Direct.
Sure.
I with the whole like ports thing. The only thing that I want to say about that is what I don't see a real like maybe fans do, but I don't see a correlation between a Pokemon Bank not being there and then getting those games. Like for Pokemon Bank, people can I feel like they just want to move up their Pokemon from their older games.
Yeah. Because
they were special to them or whatever. But basically you can get a lot of those Pokemon in the newer games. Like there's just a few like Minior that you can't get. But you wouldn't be able to get that anyway if you're getting like ports of Generation 3, you know.
I look at it so with a 3DS, right? A new player could go like I don't know, a new player. They go, I want to get a 3DS, and I can go to the store, or I can not go to the store. I can order online Omega Ruby. I can order online Black 2, White 2, right? They can know if they get a new 3DS or they order an old 3DS with a new profile, they're not physically able to download Gens 1 and 2 or Pokemon Bank. That's kind of what it is. Because if you have Pokemon Bank, you can still use it to move Pokemon up. I definitely got to do that at some point. Just like go through.
True,
my
like
older
that's
games.
going to be free for now as well. I don't know for how long it'll last, but they're going to give us a solution because Game Freak is very aware of these things. Like they want us to be able to use our
That's my
Pokemon all
point.
the way from way back in the day.
They are aware of it, right? They want to keep those games alive. I would think that they would. That's like saying like Disney's not going to reissue or sell. Like imagine if now that Disney owns Star Wars, they don't sell DVDs or like they don't have the original Star Wars trilogy on Disney Plus. Like imagine if that was the case. That's what this is like. If Gens 1 and 2 are not available at some point, it's like they're just like snubbing their legacy.
For this specific Pokemon Day, I don't know if that's going to be announced. I mean, it could happen this year. They could be like, later on in the year and be like, hey, because we're going to get another Pokemon Presents this year. So, like just be like, hey, you know what? We're going to do this, or it could be in this Pokemon Day. I don't know.
I mean, and it could always be, you mentioned earlier, it could be a Nintendo Direct. Because, I mean, that's where they announced Stadium and Snap coming to Virtual Console.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Did. I don't know if we're done with that, but I just going back to, you asked the question of rumors before we wrap up. It's like rumors on the DLC. Like, we've gotten multiple things about, like, there being 3 packs DLC. I've heard of rumors about like they're possibly not getting Suicune and Virizion, the Paradox ones, like in the story of the game. Instead, like they just give them to us, kind of thing.
I would hate that.
Yeah, but it makes sense though, doesn't it? Because they were already in the game's code and in the game and taken out of the game. So
that's true.
So it's like
they were
just
Valerian
like
Slowpoke.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So like, you got Valerian Slowpoke on the first day that they announced it. This might.
I think I would like that then. At
the same time, you don't get any like basic lore for them. But I don't know if that's originally what they were like. What were they just supposed to be in Scarlet and Violet and just be another Paradox Pokemon like Roaring Moon? We didn't get anything.
Maybe they on Pokemon Day there's like a new thing that's or this initial launch, right? This initial update that would allow some sort of access for DLC early. Like, what if we now have just access to each of those trios, like the original Pokemon? Because let's say, again, new players, maybe they don't know who Suicune, Raikou, Entei are, right? Maybe we get familiar with their lore, and then later on, it's like, wait, what is this? Now I have context for this Paradox Pokemon.
It's possible. There's been rumors, like you asked about rumors, like your first question. So those are the things that I've heard around. But I mean, there's no like full legitimacy to any of it. It's just ideas that are kind of interesting. Like imagine if they did that. Like, would people be happy or would they be just like, what?
See, I immediately thought of a story perspective and was like, that's lame. But then I thought, because I like battling, so then I thought of like a competitive standpoint. I was like, I would like to get those now.
We have this idea in our minds that they're going to be like a big part of the DLC, like that they could be like the story of it all or whatever. I think the third legendary is a guarantee in that respect, but these two, the way that what we know from leaks and whatever is they don't have much going on. Supposedly they could have maybe added things or, maybe what we know is not correct either. Like maybe they were always planned to have something more. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty wild. There's something else you said and I wanted to bring it up and I can't remember.
Give me my Pokemon Ranch 2.
That would be so good. I'm definitely on board. I think Pokemon Ranch 2 would be really fun. I think I want to be able to interact with all those Pokemon that are in my box, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I remembered. Okay, all so right, you said Lumi, that you want it to be like as big as the Sword and Shield DLC.
I meant the trailer.
Right, the trailer.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about Pokemon Day trailer, whatever is coming to us. I think that was a very specific situation because nobody knew that DLC was going to happen. We were all expecting like a third version or something.
It was such a hype trailer. You know what I mean? Like Scarlet and Violet's, I felt the same way where like the Sword and Shield one, you know, they had that thing playing where it was like, here comes a brand new world, you know, that was like the music playing. And it was like, I mean, you're sitting there like, you know, but Scarlet and Violet's was just, let's just play field music.
Right.
I mean, it was lame
in
comparison.
When the Scarlet and Violet release trailer, I was not really sure if it was Legends DLC or not. Didn't it kind of look like Legends?
No, the reveal trailer I thought was good.
The first one was epic to me. The first one.
Yes. Yeah. I think the first one was amazing. Because it was that whole thing, too, where, like, they knew, like, you knew Detective Pikachu was coming. Oh, so, like, they had the whole thing where you're like, Detective Pikachu 2? It's Detective Pikachu 2? And then,
I did
like,
think it was that.
No, it's not Detective Pikachu 2!
I was like, no!
It's so true.
Let's hope for another good fake-out like that.
Yeah, so the reason I brought it up, though, is not just to talk about that, but to say that I do think that it could be just as epic in the sense of content. I think people are going to be surprised with what is coming because of things. Sweet. So, you know, yeah, I could be wrong, but...
Egg Evolution Return in podcast.
Oh, no.
All right, guys. If you have nothing else to say, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to us on Spotify or iTunes or anywhere else on an audio listening platform, please give us a review. I think our goal is to get 50 reviews. That'd be very helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Peace out.
Peace.